Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and above all, Merry Christmas wherever in the world you are watching this, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Grumpy Gits. I, as always, am your glorious host, Adam Pearson, leading you by the hand through this cavalcade of carnage and chaos that is our show. But I am not alone. Oh, no, no, no. I am joined, as always, by two bastions among men to help me through the Christmas period. Up first, an award-winning disability rights campaigner from the south of England, who can always see walking, proud and erect, through his own town, Mr. Duncan Casburn. How are you?
I'm good. I like that I'm a disability ambassador with zero disabilities. Although, technically, I'm blind in one eye.
You have a lived experience of disability.
I have a lived experience, and it's very, very precious.
There are levels to this. So, yeah, you're in, but you're sort of like, if this was Scientology, you'd be the guy outside trying to get people in.
I think the disability community probably is more strict than Scientology is, to be honest. I don't even think Tom Cruise would be accepted.
No, he gets thrown out for like able-splaining, like
It's
straight
hard
away.
to slide across the floor like that in a wheelchair.
It's always a mission impossible for us disabled people, Tom.
Well, I've heard you like a few good men, Martin.
Hey.
Hold on, could somebody please get me a cocktail?
Well, I don't have a tail.
Don't even ask me if I'm alright, because you know I'm fine. Let's not waste time. Don't bother asking.
You won't feel it. We've already sunk to a new low, and I'm not even introduced Martin yet. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who once described "It's a Wonderful Life" as overrated nonsense. Martin Dugan, how are you?
You must have been reading my mind right then. That's all I'm saying, because that's exactly what I was saying myself. I just wanted to say ho 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 Merry Christmas to everyone except that guy with the hat on. I cannot think of a Santa Claus who, I can't think of anyone, Santa or no Santa, that I'd want to sit on their lap less.
I just think it's wonderful that the person who's dressed most Christmassy is the Australian. I've always wanted to know this, Duncan, because I found out that it's summer in Australia at Christmas. I found that out from watching Home and Away as a child. That's how I learned about the seasons, and they didn't just happen in the UK. Our Australian Christmas cards just beaches and bro surfing and drinking Castlemaine 4X.
4X.
4X is brilliant, mate.
Oh, mate, that stuff, that'll get you off. The funny thing about Australia is with Christmas is it's proudly Australian. Yeah, it's all hot and it's beaches and it's barbecues for Christmas Day and all that kind of stuff. But still, you'll go to the shopping centres and people have spray painted snow in the windows. Santa still wears this ridiculous garb. And he's like, really?
I have never imagine being a mall Santa in Australia when it's fucking 97 Fahrenheit and you're already annoyed that you got to dress like a wanker, but you're sweating buckets with kids on your lap.
Can you imagine the average chimney in Australia? The average chimney in Australia is full of funnel web spiders, snakes, probably box jellyfish.
Santa doesn't give them anything for Christmas, no.
The animals just couldn't. Christmas animals couldn't. They could barely survive in the UK. I'd give a penguin 5 minutes in Australia before it dies of heat exhaustion or an Australian tries to fight it. We've all seen that video on Aussie Men Reviews where the guy just left hooks a kangaroo.
Yeah, thank you for hitting. Look at my dog.
And the kangaroo looks at him stunned and then runs away.
Yeah, I remember that one. Duncan, I was just thinking as well, because I'm sitting there looking at you, right? Can't help it with that hat on. And I'm thinking to myself, it's not Santa that he looks like, it's Grumpy from Snow White that he actually looks like. That's what this is the vibe I'm getting.
Grumpy's the word. I don't like that's what I'm saying. It's so ironic that I'm the one in the freaking Santa hat. Because I can't I love Christmas, I love my kids, I love the way it's all beautiful, it's a family time. I just hate everything else that goes along with Christmas.
Conversely, I'm the real Christmas guy. I've already been to see Muppet Sing Along Christmas Carol twice in London.
Nice.
Once with work and once on my own because I was in the area.
Because outside of work, Adam has no friends.
This is true.
He's the guy sitting at the back with the anorak on.
Yeah.
Was he sick in a bathroom stall afterwards?
KFC and JD, baby. KFC and JD.
It's a winning mix.
We're Morty and Marty.
Well, actually, I'm eating after 8s right now, which tells me it's Christmas time. I went to see Home Alone live in concert on Saturday.
Ah, legend.
Live in concert. Was Trump there?
Down the hall and to the left. It was
It's
Home
the
Alone
best
1.
hall. It's the best hall in America.
We're going to build a wall in the hall. Live in concert was when you watch Home Alone like a cinema experience, but there's a live orchestra playing all the music.
Oh, I bet that was amazing.
It was actually unbelievable. See the bit in Home Alone 1 where he sits and chats to the old guy and they sing "Oh Holy Night" in the church, and then the bells go and like he prepares, like, so they've got like a choir and they've got like a full orchestra, and it was just like the one of the best. If you want to step into Christmas, that's a way to do it.
I don't think I've
I
actually sat through Home Alone, but that actually sounds cool.
Oh, it was, mate. So good.
I reckon that'd be a very different film with like competent robbers. I want them to remake it with like competent criminals.
Home Alone 2 should have been the social services moving in on the family for leaving their kid alone at Christmas.
But they didn't leave him alone this time. This time he made it to the airport.
You got on the wrong plane.
And they got separated at the airport because flying pre 9/11 was remarkably easy. Like, security is, are you sure your dad's on that plane? Yes, I am. Well, go right on, sir. That was pre 9/11 travel. How many liters of nitrogen is that? Oh, 2. Go right on.
And his Uncle Frank just always seemed to have a house in Paris when they went and visited in the first one. And then he had a renovated house in New York. Good old Uncle Frank, eh? I remember watching Home Alone when I was like really young, and I still laugh to the same intensity as what I did when I first watched it. The end bits, like the bit where he puts the spider on Marv's face and stuff like that, is just...
This opens up a question, actually, that I saw this week come up on my news feed. If Die Hard's a Christmas movie, and we've discussed that in previous episodes, I'm not going to discuss it now, should Lethal Weapon also be considered a Christmas movie?
I saw a sketch on this, and I also recently saw the comedy roast of Bruce Willis, and he's openly said it's not a Christmas film.
The director, however, has said the opposite.
Well, when the director is in Die Hard, he can say what he wants. But until then, I have no proof. I have no proof he was there.
My name's John McTiernan. A long time ago, I did a movie called Die Hard. What I would like to do is talk to you about how Die Hard became a Christmas movie.
You could have directed Die Hard, for all I know. I wasn't there. You know who was there? A cameraman pointing a camera at Bruce Willis, who has said it's not a fucking Christmas film. And I go, oh, it happened around Christmas, like Lethal Weapon and Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor should be the new Christmas staple. That'll make Ben Affleck's day.
December 14th, that's when Pearl Harbor happened.
Oh, only Michael Bay could make Christmas explosive like that. I was watching TV the other night and it had the whole, it was the first day of Christmas and all through the house. No creature did stir, not even a mouse. And I thought of Chris.
And Chris's house is true?
Not even a mouse, because if it did, it was dead.
Or it already is dead. I reckon when Chris goes to Disneyland, Mickey Mouse goes, oh, fucking hell.
Mickey Mouse goes on holiday that week.
You got this one, Minnie. You got this.
He's hiding in the kennel pushing Pluto out. You take him. You take him.
Hi, Chris, if you're watching. We love you, we miss you, and we hope you're having a good Christmas. And stop killing mice. That'd be super.
Adam, can you send Chris in the mail like 1,000 videos of Ratatouille?
I don't know if I can source that many of them like I did with Water World for that one guy.
What I think we can do is, remember the little chocolate milk mice that you used to get with the penny sweetie ones?
Yeah.
We should buy him a big bucket of those.
One a day for a year.
Oh, man, that's brilliant. 365 mice. I reckon by the time it got to 5, he would lose his shit.
366 because it's a leap year for 2024.
It's a leap year next year.
Yeah.
I reckon. You think he get as far as 5? I reckon after the third one, he would be like, "All right, knock it off."
Actually, there's another 300. There's another
Yeah.
362 to go.
There's a calendar on the wall. He's Xing them out.
Actually, do you know what? I actually might take on this challenge.
Oh, God.
I think we've got to do it now.
I am so up for that.
This will be a good way to tell if Chris still is engaged with the product or not.
I tell you what,
Chris, you have till Christmas Day to text me the following. Don't you dare.
Yeah.
What's happening? Different mouse-related products.
Just bury it up.
We've still got a week to convince all of his family that he's really into mice. And to get him because I did this with my friend Kai. I convinced my friend Kai's whole family. This is like both sets of grandparents, like cousins, girlfriend, boss, best friend. I convinced all of them that he was really into flamingos.
I remember this.
And then the next time I saw him was like March. And I come out the station and he's there wearing a flamingo shirt, scowling at me.
Was he a bit pink, bit embarrassed?
He was standing on one leg.
Standing in a puddle in one leg.
Yeah. Let's move into our regularly reoccurring segment. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
And gentlemen, my one's quite simple. What's your favourite Christmas movie? What's your least favourite Christmas movie? And what's the most overrated Christmas movie?
Because I'm such a Christmas guy, I like them all. I even like the Channel 5 Hallmark Christmas movies, mate. Where it's like the same narrative, it's like the same narrative.
Oh, you mean it's the same movie, just with interchangeable actors?
Exactly, they're brilliant.
Do you want to know how Duncan answer while you think about how to shit on Christmas but not from a great height? Duncan, talk to me. I reckon there's some that will wind you right up. Because there's some that wind me right up.
There's a lot that wind me right up. I'm going to go for my favourite Lethal Weapon. I'm going to say it's a Christmas movie. I'm going to put it out there.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Comments,
You're
people,
wrong.
if it's a Christmas movie, put it in the
No,
comments.
it isn't. It isn't.
It is.
It's not a Christmas movie.
It opens with, is it Jingle Bells? It's like something like that. Jingle Bell Rock. It opens with Jingle Bell Rock.
They sing Jingle Bell Rock in Mean Girls. That's not a Christmas film either.
That's
one of a Christmas film.
New Christmas movie. My most hated. there is a series of them. It's like Santa pups, and it's this dogs, like puppies at Christmas and saving Christmas, and it is. I went into a diabetic coma just from watching the first one, and my kids watched them all, and I've seen them all enough to know that I never want to see them again.
Hi, kids. Merry Christmas.
Dogs die young.
Young, really young. Younger than at least one of you is now. And here's a hint, it's not Curtis.
My least favourite is the Gremlins.
No!
Oh, don't you pull that face. If you can have Lethal Weapon, he can certainly have Gremlins.
Fucking Gremlins is an awesome. I'll acknowledge the whole concept of don't feed them before midnight. It means
don't get them wet.
Feed them once in your life.
Don't get them wet. I can't help it if I'm sexy. Like, I thought they've got no self-control.
It is awesome.
Not awesome.
Awesome.
Not compared to other ones.
And that, Martin, is why Newsman sent you to watch Pandas and not interview Steven Spielberg.
That's a true story. That's why I never get my shirt. That's why Blue Peter never gave me a shirt. I'd say that my favourite, this is the toughest one though, is my favourite one. Like, because it's like a toss-up between Home Alone, obviously, but then you've got the Harry Potters now.
Really?
I love what
I'm sorry.
Weapon's not a Christmas film, but Harry Potter is.
That's no.
I think Harry Potter can be associated with Christmas.
That's like, no, if there's a passing mention to Christmas in a film, it becomes a no.
Okay. if we're using that logic, and it's very loose, it's barely logic at this point, Martin. But I'm going to give it to you just so I can tear it to pieces.
No. You don't get to just set me up just to fucking
Using your logic, Passion of the Christ is a Christmas film.
Well, actually, if you really want to get deep into it, it is.
No, it's an Easter film.
Well, really, you've just made yourself look like an intelligent idiot because actually you have come up with a more logical reason for why Christmas film. You're not using
if you really want to get into it. No, Martin, I don't want to get into it. I really don't. I regret saying it.
It's like, no, I'm sorry. It's like saying Hannibal Lecter was alive for one Christmas at least, therefore Silence of the Lambs is a Christmas movie.
Well, actually, to be fair, if you want to talk about Silence of the Lambs, then lambs are kind of, watch that picture there.
Dave Gilmore's died! Oh, dear.
Okay, but absolute number one Christmas movie has got to be Home Alone. It's got to be Home Alone.
Okay, my least favourite by far, because it's just so sweet and so saccharine. I'm almost certain if I watched it in one sitting, it'd give me diabetes. Love Actually.
Hate it.
Oh, yeah. That film is just, other than the fat shaming throughout, which even Richard Curtis has gone, yeah, I think I'd rethink that now.
Yeah, it just from start to finish, it's just no, I'm not here for this. And bear in mind, I had like a short list of bad ones. I hate Love Actually that much. It beat what is mechanically, verifiably a worse film, and that's Look Who's Talking Now.
Who's Talking? Such a funny film when I was a kid.
I used to love Look Who's Talking. Yeah.
Look
Who's Talking Now. I'm with Adam.
It's the same one. What do you want for Christmas? I want a dog. And they get these two dogs. For the edited TV version, they've had to remove a very unfortunate Princess Diana reference. Because the film came out, and 2 weeks later, Paris got a slow down sign anymore. But mechanically, that is a worse film. But I just think watching Love Actually, I find utterly infuriating.
Was it like twee? It's so twee.
I blame Love Actually for the sudden popularity of All I Want for Christmas Is You. Because before that film, I really hadn't paid attention to it. Since that film, it's the Christmas song that you hear in every fucking shop the country over.
I have a thing where the first shop I'm in that plays it, I trash it a little bit.
Does that mean that About a Boy is a Christmas movie because it's a Christmas song that he gets money for?
I do not like this rabbit hole we're going down about what and this is why it's conversations like this, which is why Esther McVeigh is a minister again. It's things like this that just have no common sense that got Esther McVeigh a job.
Adam, what's your favourite Christmas movie?
Oh, it's easily a Muppet Christmas Carol. Easily.
I'll go with that. That is.
Hello, everyone.
It's one of Michael Caine's best performances ever.
I think he's quite proud of it as well. Whenever I've read interviews with him talking about it, he's like massively proud of that.
He should be. It's amazing.
It's brilliant.
The harrowing bit where he meets the ghost of Christmas yet to come, and he sees on gravestone, and he's like, "Don't leave me! Tell me I can stop this."
Have you ever seen Bill Murray's Scrooged?
I love that film. That film is so underrated.
It's the bit where death comes and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I was told about this today. I was sitting for a portrait artist today, and he's like, that version of A Christmas Carol is horrendously terrifying.
Yeah, it's dark.
It's like a Tim Burton had a breakdown at Christmas.
Absolutely, but it's so good. It's quite funny as well.
What do you think about A Nightmare Before Christmas becoming a Christmas film? It becoming popular.
Love
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I was reading this week that Tim Burton's even surprised that it's become like this celebrated Christmas film.
Yeah, man, it's incredible. I love it.
It's on my Christmas movie list every December.
Yeah, same.
Okay, but here's the kicker, boys, and this is what might set the cat amongst the pigeons. What do you think is the most overrated Christmas film? The one that everyone goes, "Oh, you've got to watch this," and you watch it and go, "Meh." For me, Elf. Elf is overrated
I
nonsense.
fucking
Oh,
hate Elf. I
oh, you two are
cannot
fucking
sit through it.
nuts. You two are nuts.
It's Will Ferrell yelling at little people for an hour and a half.
Why isn't that funny? In what world is that never funny? That is
Because if
awful.
I did it, I'd get arrested.
Yeah, I know, but you can't do it. You could get arrested for a lot more than that. That's the least of your worries.
He does it for an hour and a half at Christmas.
Oh man.
Like ad nauseum. I did it to Shani Gander once in April, and I had to apologise on the set of Dragon Slayers United. Hi, Shani, love you.
Okay, I'll go. I want to know, what was your most awkward Christmas moment? Whether it be a gift that was inappropriate or just awkward.
Not really had that many awkward Christmas. My family are really good actually. We're shit out rapping, but good presents and stuff.
I've saved a few near misses.
I've never really struggled at
What
Christmas.
was
But I'll tell you what I don't like, right? I'll tell you what I don't like is that in our family, like when Santa puts the presents, like we go to bed and then Santa puts the presents under the tree, right? And then we wake up and Santa's left, whatever. But one of Jessica's mum, my daughter Jessica's mum, her family, what we used to do whenever it was their turn to go to Christmas is they would all have to sit and open a present one at a time in front of each other. So like it go, your turn, Martin, and then you pick a present and they'd be look,
like you're performing.
and then everybody's like watching you you're like, thanks a lot for
Can I
this.
interrupt you for a second? My kids have adopted this thing of, it's like a YouTube video when you're opening Christmas presents now, and they line them up like they're for a camera.
Oh my God, what's happening, man?
Oh, I blame Mr. Beast for all of this. He invented YouTube culture. Oh, that performative.
Yeah, so that was like that's the most like annoying thing that gets me at Christmas. But when I was younger, I really wanted this Kawasaki battery bikes that used to get like it was there. I got it. I can't remember what age I was, and like it's like 5 in the morning because we woke my mum and dad up like super early, like oh my God, Santa's been man. So then like I sat on the bike and then no one told me how to operate it. So I literally like torqued it back and it just went and like
Guess the story of how you went up in a wheelchair.
yeah, and then and then went straight through the tree, straight through the telly, everything like absolutely destroyed. Like the living room within 2 minutes, and my parents were tired. They hadn't had a coffee yet. They were drinking on Christmas Eve. It's just like wasn't a great start.
I've had a few near misses where I've bought things, had a rethink, and thought this isn't as funny as I think it's gonna be. And it's always like really weird stuff that's actually quite hard to get. Like I didn't know they made a Dirty Dancing ironing board cover, which is my mom's favourite film, until I saw it online, audibly laughed on my own in a room, bought it, looked at it on the 23rd and thought she won't find that funny. Sent it back. Back when we were caring for my father, he used to call a lot from like one room to the other. And I was like, okay. And so I bought like an American police megaphone that they used to negotiate with terrorists that has a siren. And then the day before, I finally priced up the camera and went, Mom, is this funny? And she was like, that is not funny. No, you should not have done that. Well, I bought clothes for Roxy that luckily have been the right size.
Please tell me it was small, because anything else is going to end up with you in a ditch somewhere.
Here's the thing. It isn't always letters. Sometimes it's numbers. And I don't know what those numbers mean. I don't know what they mean. Just like people go, oh, I'm a zero. Just like, well, as a scientist, you should know that that means you don't exist. Which you clearly do, because here you are, giving me shit for trying my best. So that's that idea debunked, isn't it?
So when you say zero, you mean 16? No?
Yeah. Well, American Zero is like size 4 over here.
Yeah.
And he doesn't watch this. He's absolutely not a size 4.
I'm making sure she sees this.
No, you're fucking not. Babe, you follow my toes. Come on. We all know that Sesame Street hoodie isn't a 4, and we all know you like it. So, hey, how are you doing? One year, I forgot. One year, I just forgot to do it, and woke up on the 24th and thought, oh no, and just thought, I'll take the bollocking. I'd rather take the bollocking for just not having done it than having done it at a garden centre in like South Croydon because nowhere else is open.
It stuns me you're still alive.
You're the only person in the world that would get away with that shit, man, to be honest.
I'm a great guy. Luckily Martin Lewis had been on the telly and said a great idea for Christmas is just an IOU. Just say IOU what you want after Christmas when there's January sales on.
Yeah.
Happy days. And I was like, but Martin Lewis said it.
I've got two that spring to mind. Both involve my mother. One was my age at this point was 32, and I had to unwrap in front of her a present that was a make it at home yourself crystal radio set. And that look, you know, when you look up and you're like, she's like, as if I'm gonna love this thing, and I'm like, that's wonderful.
Oh,
it's just the worst feeling.
Was it like that bit in The Simpsons where he opens up Lee Cardello's parting challenge instead of Bone Storm?
It's exactly that kind of moment. It's like, what do I say?
Oh yeah.
The only comparable moment I can think of is that we used to have this thing called Crappy Christmas. My mates in Australia, they all had loads of kids, so it was just a stupidly expensive time of year. So we had this thing arranged, which was basically you can't spend more than $5 on the present, and you got to get something really crappy. And the bet, it's like, but the rule was you had to use whatever you got. And the three of us, like myself, my best guy who's my best man at my wedding, and a chap called Pete, all really good friends. And we'd all got each other exactly the same thing, which was the David Hasselhoff Christmas album.
I would like to request that we never do this on the Grumpy Gits. Because there's one person in particular I'm worried about who has already sent us all catheters in the mail through a laugh.
You're taking the piss.
Exactly. And that rule that we've got to use it scares the life out of me.
Yeah, that would be bad. I think we'd have to banish that one, existing Grumpy Grit. But the other one was, I must have been about 7 or 8 years old. This is, I'm old. It's clear. It was back when you could leave the kids alone in the house kind of thing and piss off down to the church for the midnight mass. My mum had gone with the rest of the family. So my brother and I were alone, and I worked out I could open the window and climb onto the roof of the house. So my mum came home to me dancing on Christmas Eve on the roof of the house. Hey, Mum, how you doing?
Do you have that hat on that you're wearing right now?
I wish I did. You know what? That would have just been the icing on the cake. Riding Rudolph. Woohoo!
My see you next Tuesday is what are the strangest Christmas traditions that you've either experienced or know about, really? Or have you ever had someone tell you about a tradition that you're like, what the heck?
Mine is, without fail, for breakfast, every Christmas day, half a glass of Baileys and a chocolate orange. That's just how I Christmas. That's just how I roll.
Love it.
If you have a golf problems, like so bad for your son, I got 99 problems, and that morning is one.
Honestly, we should put a shout out though to people to tell us their Christmas traditions that are really weird.
My friend Emma from BBC Radio Newcastle, in her house, they have a Christmas room. A room that all year round is just good to go for Christmas.
Oh,
She doesn't know how December works.
That's what serial killers are like. Serial killers have things like that.
She's going to be on a true crime documentary in the next
Yeah.
Right. He's ironically obsessed with true crime. So,
there's no irony in it.
So
How you learn
So
to change the bodies is learning through experience.
He sits in a Christmas room watching true crime documentaries.
So if I go down the chimney, no one will check the doors.
If I make my Santa suit big enough, I can just grab the kids in it and hide them inside it.
And that is the difference between men and women. Women spend all their time online watching people ending life, and men watch people create it.
Everybody's got their own little Christmas traditions, don't they? Like mine's it used to be, but when I in Glasgow, funnily enough, just weird. We used to drink basically alcohol from the second we woke up till the second we went to sleep. So it was kind of like
Scottish. You were three, right?
That's a Christmas thing in Glasgow.
That's a Tuesday.
How is this any different from my friend's Christmas room?
the difference is we're too pissed to commit the crime. That's what it is. You're too pissed.
We're going to commit a crime. Oh, but what if we triggered a The what? The thing that goes off when you break into somewhere.
The reason why I wanted to talk to you about traditions was because, do you know about Japan at Christmas?
No, but I want to.
Obviously, Japanese culture isn't the same as culture over here, so Christmas Day isn't like a thing.
Oh, they eat KFC, don't they?
Yeah, mate. They all eat KFC, so listen to this. 3.6 million families will partake in fried chicken from KFC on Christmas Day, which has become the typical holiday tradition in Japan. So basically, every household, basically, you have to pre-order your KFC a year in advance.
That's fucking genius. That
Can you
can see the colonel sitting at home. You can see the colonel sitting at home thinking, Britain have done it with Sprouts. So let's make KFC a Christmas thing.
do you know how it began? It began in the 1970s. In 1970s, right, to tempt tourists and expats with chicken on Christmas Day, because no one could find turkey in that part of the world, right? So they thought to make tourists want to come here on Christmas, we'll just do KFC.
Pre-order KFC a year. I can pre-order a baby in 9 months.
Kentucky Fried Christmas. That's what it is. That's genius.
Do you know what freaks me out about it? How much chicken is that? The amount of chicken being consumed in that one day is absolutely terrifying.
Oh, didn't see that shit on Chicken Run, did you? This sounds like Pearl Harbor for chickens.
Mate, definitely. What's the Christmas tradition for you? Is there any in Australia that you can kind of shed some light on?
I think the only one I can think of is one that's no longer done. So, I mean, in Australia, it's a weekday, so you're drinking. But the reality is that they used to, because obviously it is the middle of a blazing hot summer. And so a certain entertainer wrote a song called Six White Boomers, which was about Santa's Australia visit, which was like being towed by kangaroos, and he's in a singlet and shorts. Turns out that particular entertainer is now considered a pedophile. So Mr. Rolf Harris. So no one can.
Can you guess what it is yet?
It's just like it went from being like this is the Australian version of Christmas. So we can't talk about that anymore.
It was the same in this country.
Even with Rolf, 2 little boys had 2 little toys. Not a good read now.
James Head takes it a whole new sinister meaning, doesn't it?
It does.
So Christmas traditions was the 4 boomers, did you say? And then this
it's like 6 white boomers, it was called.
6 white boomers,
it was 6 kangaroos that tow the sleigh. It's still a sleigh. Clearly he didn't have time to switch to a Toyota Land Cruiser in that time.
You get loads of like Scandic people that build gingerbread houses on Christmas Eve, or there's a few other weird traditions at Christmas that I'm trying to remember, because Newsround's always good for this kind of stuff. Like you always wonderful little things about different countries at Christmas. Actually, just before we move on from this, I just want to let you know that one of the best Christmas films ever made that's massively underrated is Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
No. Sinbad threatens to blow up a post office. It's aged like dog mark. He uppercuts a reindeer. Not good.
It's brilliant, man. It's so good.
There is nothing about that film that would get made now. You know, there are some films you look at and you think, oh, I do a few things differently now. That whole film is just like, no, we cannot do any of
It's
this.
so true. I was
It
about
has
to...
breaking and entering, animal cruelty, terrorism, grand larceny, major larceny, child neglect, joyriding, kidnapping, aiding and abetting, mail fraud. There's so much wrong in that film. There are less crimes in Catch Me If You Can than there are in Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, when the Departed's a rehabilitation story.
So true, though. It's so true. But what a film! What a film!
In slightly less festive than what we've been talking about, the proposed changes and cuts coming for the disabled community. The changes to potentially to benefits, the return to fitness to work, assessments that could all be coming in. We've already had nigh on 14 years of Tory scapegoating and austerity that has verifiably disproportionately affected the disabled community. And if you want more on that, read Dr. Francis Ryan's book, Crippled. It's a masterpiece in unpacking it and explaining it. And I think now that they know they're on their way out, the big final farewell and fuck you is the scrapping of the Minister for Disabled People. How much more proof do we need that the Tories loathe the disabled?
Do you know what really gets me is the fact that people are surprised every single time that something like this happens. Like when I realised and I saw the petitions that were sort of coming out on Twitter this week around the disability minister being sort of downgraded, as they put it, and everyone's like, "Oh, Martin, this is terrible, isn't it? This is like shocking." It's like, what are you talking about? It's been happening for 13 years. Like this has been like
Yeah.
consistent.
Because
Like it doesn't. This is just another thing. Like I'm not surprised anymore. Because to be honest, they kept changing. How many times has the disability minister changed under the Tory government? Like
it's a lot. And we for a while, one step down, and then Theresa May said that we're not going to have one until we get Brexit resolved. To which I openly wrote a letter to Theresa May going, so we're not going to have one ever. Like, come on.
yeah, that's basically
And then Tomlinson came back in and voted against remote voting for MPs, which discriminates against disabled MPs who have to shield and can't vote in person. And that shows how thick he is. Even if you don't believe it, at least fucking pretend to give a shit.
But do you know
Because
what I think?
I met Chris Tomlinson years ago after my hate crime doc came out. And he made all these promises as to how we were going to work together and stuff. And I wasn't thrilled. But, it's better to change the system with arseholes from the inside than shout at the same arseholes from the outside. And then he got his title up, ran it in the Conservative newsletter, and I never heard from him
Yeah, but
again.
Adam, the thing is as well, like when people like they're like, "Oh, sign this petition." So on one hand, I understand that people like we all agree that there should be a disability minister because it helps with
Yeah.
voice heard, right? But let's be honest, right? See this disability minister being downgraded, I just think, oh well, more of the same then. Because for me, like it's not like the disability minister ever did anything that's
Well,
noteworthy.
the Conservative one didn't. But I reckon when we do inevitably get our change in government, I think had it not been downgraded, the incoming minister, who we all know and we've met, Vicky Foxcroft, I reckon she'd have done a lot. I reckon she sort of got it.
Yeah, we'll see though, won't we? So that's not me. It's just a politician for me at the moment, and I just think that it's best to keep our expectations low.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I'm no longer surprised at anything that I see happening. And this is the world over. Remove parties or which side of which wing you are, left or right or whatever. I find the whole thing so disheartening now because it's just so exposed as being so corrupted. Government in general is just so corrupted. I genuinely want to see the government change this time. But Keir Starmer's he's not struggling for a quid. We seem to have this whole sort of the rich ruling the poor, and it is oppression. Personally, I can't speak from a disabled perspective. What I can do is speak from somebody who has 3 disabled family members in one way or another. I attended a forum where it was being discussed about carers' roles and disabled roles in society, and they labelled anybody who's not actively working, so somebody who's not in a private sector job that is paying full tax, as economically inactive. Now, as a carer, I know that carers in the UK save the UK government per year £200 billion a year. That's astonishing when you actually start to think about the ramifications that has. Disabled people can work from home. We went through the whole pandemic and everyone was like, oh, finally. And here we are, 2 years later. And it's like everyone needs to get back to work in the offices.
Yeah.
We have this society that is just so systemically ableist, and it's reflected in the governments that we have. And I think it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that we will marginalize people, and you can liken it to so many historic events. But basically, it's this thing of, let's eradicate an element of society that's just inconvenient or unliked at this point.
2 bits of research that have come out rather recently. Of all the companies who have signed up for the government's disability confident thing, and I need to go on record and say I loathe disability confident. I think it's infinitely worse than what we had beforehand. I think it offers way less protection and way less guarantees than the 2-tick system did. I can't stand it, I won't support it, and I'll never endorse it. Of all the companies who have signed up to disability confident and who have gotten the box ticked and the stamp of approval, 1/3 employ precisely no disabled people. And newer research shows that whether companies have it or not, it makes not one bit of difference as to how likely they are to employ disabled people. Not one jot. And I think this whole rhetoric, I believe Israel Oakeshott on Newsnight referred to and these are her exact words, the sick and the disabled as an untapped resource, which in of itself is highly dehumanizing language, and then said that we are muck about. And it all feels like gaslighting and victim blaming.
That's gaslight, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's provocative language that she's using, in the sense that it's definitely going to get a reaction, isn't it? And that's...
Oh yeah, but she's just a talk TV grifter. She uses a lot of words but doesn't say a lot. I saw her on Jeremy Vine with Samantha Renker. Hey Sam, love you, talking about disability hate speech. And she's like, well, I get hate speech every day. I'm like, no, you get speech that is hateful. There's a world of difference. So tell me you're not well read without telling me you're not well read. But also, if you don't want people calling you a Sunday, maybe don't be a Sunday.
The whole thing just destroys me. I think I genuinely think, we can blame government on this, and I do. But the reality is, until we change society, the government isn't going to reflect. In the end, they do what's the popular vote. Everything government does, everything any political party does, is based on what's popular. And the reality...
Oh, yeah, it's a corrupt reality show.
Yeah.
This leads me on to another thing that I quite wanted to talk about. I've been knocking this around my head quite a lot recently, and I don't quite know where I stand. And obviously, it goes without saying that it isn't the job of the disabled community to fix a problem that they themselves did not create. Like that is how I'm going to start this. I believe that is kind of closed-handed advocacy. Though I think, particularly with disability advocacy, there's way more infighting than there is in other areas. And I also think that the landscape and method of communication is really shouty and can be very problem focused and not solution focused. And I think there needs to be a way to sort of like cut through that anger
Yeah, I think that
And
we're on to a losing battle there, pal, to be honest. I love the optimism that you bring to the party in sense of like you think that that's even possible that we could get through that white noise of like constant just barat. But
oh, I don't. That's the thing. I don't think that we can get through it.
I don't
And
think
so
we can.
my question is, how do we? And when I say we, I mean us three in particular. I'm going to keep this really convergent. How do we separate ourselves from the white noise,
I
yet
think it's
still support those making the white noise? If
common
that
sense
makes
for me,
sense.
does it for me. So common sense does it for me where the emotion is always the problem with the disability community, I think. And then the way that I'll tell you but when I say that common sense, I know it's easier said than done. I know that
Yeah,
common sense to some people is different to others, right? But what I mean is, I'll tell you how I separate it in my mind, and this might seem really strange, but when I end up in one of these sort of debates, or if I see debates going online, or if I hear noise around me from the disability community, like I always try and understand from both sides. With disability, like nothing's ever clear. Like nothing's ever like I can't, as someone with cerebral palsy, even relate to someone else who's got cerebral palsy because there isn't two people with cerebral palsy that have got it the same.
yeah. There's not a monolith there.
So there's not even anything. It's not like I like what I mean by that is that there's if I'm Scottish, then I relate to other people that are Scottish because I'm from Scotland. But this is what's so difficult about the disabled community is like not two people are the same, and like how your disability impacts you and how it impacts your life also gives you the fire to say to give your point of view on things because I'm always saying it, Adam, I'm always saying the disabled community need to take responsibility for, you know, a lot of the stereotypes that are at our doorstep. But then I'm talking as someone who's got cerebral palsy, who's able to stand if I have to, or who's able to, you know, transfer out of my chair and who's able to live independently. I think for me, that's the kind of thinking. It's a kind of thinking where I always kind of have to go right back to like that kind of that place of remembering. Do you know what, Martin? Like your disability, you can't speak for everybody who's disabled, or you can't understand where that person's coming from because you've never lived it.
Yeah, I'm kind of at a place where I don't think every hill is worth going on. For example, when I did Steph Pat Lunch, before it finished, we had a whole Monday show. The whole thing was around disability, showcasing like amazing disabled people and their families doing amazing things. And the feedback was 99.9% positive.
It's
But
good.
there's one person, it's like, this is great and all, but what about the ableist language? It's people with disabilities, see the person first, and I'm like, that's the hill you chose to come and die on.
I think that's always the thing. Pick and choose your battles. Do you know what I mean? Like
And
that's
someone else went, no partially sighted people, and I was like, I've got the blind guy card, I've got my pink CBI card, so yeah, that's that box ticked.
that is also something that I've noticed about the disability community is that the lack of responsibility that we take for our own actions and what we say and how we represent ourselves.
Right. And you know, and as you both know, do and say heinous things.
Yeah, you do.
My sense of humor is very macabre. I am a slightly above average human being, but it's close. And I often say when I do these things as a joke, I go, I'm disabled. I don't know any better. But there are people who say that and truly mean it.
Or
And that
people,
terrifies me.
If I can, I'm going to be really open here. I grew up in North Shore, Sydney, in Australia. Very much the Australian Bible Belt, if you want to sort of align it to anything. My dad's not religious at all. I wasn't, but I was in a church, and I grew up in this very narrow-minded perspective, and I carried that with, and I look back in shame about a lot of the things that, you know, my faith hasn't changed, and I don't talk about it much, but I have a faith, and it hasn't changed. What has changed is that I there's so much hate and I think you look at there's the Westboro Baptists in the States, and it's all fueled on hate. And I started to realize that the central premise of what I believe is that God is love. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, what you're guilty of, what challenges you face in life, there's love regardless for you. And it's not my place to judge everybody else. I'm sorry, this really makes me feel a bit emotional. But there's just so much hate, and that's hate's never the place to start.
No, not
And
at
it
all.
comes back to this central biblical premise of love one another as I've loved you. Treat each other as you would want to be treated. And we forget that. Everyone's become and social media's exacerbated it. And I see a lot of the problems that we have with the world, what you're talking about with the disability community, a lot of it's fueled by the fact that there's these social media factions that just bicker, and that's the noise that we hear. And it overrules so much positivity that's out there. My experience since getting into this world of disability and neurodivergence and all that kind of stuff is just a world of incredible people. And I've never been so, it completely challenged me on a lot of the things that I had ingrained in me. And I've become a very different person. I had a friend when we were doing the TS Sen show, the three of us, I met with a friend from Australia who said, had seen the change in me, I guess, from my church in Australia, and actually said that she'd gone through her own personal journey with this. And it's like, we're just so much better people for this. Haven't lost what I believe. What I've come to do is understand that, what? The world just needs to be loved. And if we can show that love and that respect, and we can start treating each other as we ourselves would want to be treated, we overcome a lot of problems. And that's what we've got to do. In the disability community, I think stop looking at, well, that doesn't reflect me, but I understand how that reflects the other person.
Yeah.
And I think if we can start there, wow, we'll see some change.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably, I say this every year, but I'm going to try and do it this year. Just going to be less reliant on social media. I mean, I'll still post and stuff because, you've got to plug your work, right? PDA Dad still needs to get hits. People still need to watch News Round. People need to go and see A Different Man coming to cinemas 21st of January at Sundance Film Festival, 8 p.m. at the Echo Theatre, Utah, Salt Lake City. But I need to, the doom scrolling is what I need to stop. The GB News hashtag has to stop. The LBC hashtag has to stop. Me looking at them like, go for your life on Twitter. If you want to call in and pretend that you're the Anderson's kid and start crying on the radio, who am I to stop you?
I love the
Genuinely
people who
happy.
run this stuff have destroyed it anyway. No one's on Twitter anymore because Elon Musk took over it, named it X, and it's become the center for hate speech across the whole globe.
Become a
You've got
different thing.
Facebook, which no one under the age of 40 uses anymore. Instagram, which are just more obsessed with filtered photos. And TikTok, which, unless you're doing a dance, no one gives a crap about. Basically, they knock themselves out of the equation, in my opinion.
Welcome to YouTube, everyone.
Yeah. We've been discussing all this disability stuff. Well, there's a place that we can all go. We've been a part of. We were at the inaugural event last year, which is Disability Expo. They're our partners in this. We're not just saying this because they're our partners and they sponsor the show. Genuinely, one of the best experiences I had was attending the Disability Expo and seeing this breadth and wealth of amazing, diverse people with varying disabilities, varying abilities, varying neurotypes, all coming together. And it was a really celebratory event. If you've listened to what we've said and you want to be part of something bigger, hashtag I Matter, go and check out Disability Expo and join us there. We'll be speaking. We'll be doing our famous game show again. And if you bring the kids, don't bring them to the game show. Just ask your family's mum. Join us. It's an amazing event. Details will be in the description, and go and sign up. It's free. It's fantastic. Enjoy.
Fantastic. Love you guys. Disability Expo. See you in the summer. Before we go, gentlemen, a final segment I want to call Dear Santa. You both have 3 Christmas wishes that you can ask Santa for to the coming 2024. What are they? Duncan, you can go first, my man.
I want to see. This is a good question. Death to boy bands, except Westlife. I'm just going to say this. I've been doing a uni course on peer support, and one of the tutors there ribs me about Westlife all the time. She's a massive Westlife fan. She shared a story about how basically Westlife saved her life in a place where she was really down. And Westlife was like, she heard a song and it completely uplifted her, and amazing stuff. So, a death to boy bands of all kinds, except for Westlife, just because I know you've done some good. I'd like to have a politics-free year. That'd be nice. And at the risk of sounding incredibly cheesy, I think going back to what we've already talked about, I would like to see people put aside their differences and just start showing respect for each other.
Nice. Martin Dugan, what are you asking Santa
I'm
for?
asking for a new Labour government going into 2024. That'd be nice. That's number one on my Christmas wish list. Number two is that my wheelchair rugby league team, the Rochdale Hornets, I hope that we win the championship next season. We're heading for that. Hopefully, going great guns for that. And then my third wish, as always, is just to wish all my friends and my closest family members and you guys the best year ever.
I've got a New Year's resolution coming up, which is going to be that I'm going to wish everybody I know a happy birthday this year without forgetting. So happy birthday, everyone.
Yeah.
There we go. Done.
What about you,
GG.
Adam? What's yours?
So, dear Santa, my first wish is I want Chris back on the Grumpy Gits next year.
Yes.
I want him to get his blood pressure like under control, get into a good place, and come back rip roaring and ready to go. To roll some dice, kill some mice, and we can be the awesome foursome again. Dear Santa, my second wish is for my film, A Different Man, while premiering January 21st in Utah at the Eccles Theatre, 8 p.m. I want that to do really, really, really well, and good things to come from that. And finally, at the risk of sounding like I'm copying Martin, I want peace and love to all mankind and all my friends and family to have a happy Christmas, and that I get a cherry chocolate orange Christmas morning. And that is it. So, gentlemen, with all that being said, all that's left to do is wish everyone a happy Christmas. If you've enjoyed the show, don't forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe, go nuts down below in the comments. It really helps us out with the algorithm. And if there's one thing Santa likes, it's an algorithm. How do I know? He told me. Yes, he did. So, from me, Adam Pearson, from him, Martin Dugan, and from him, Duncan Casburn, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And above all else, don't be grumpy alone. See you in 2024. Mwah! Feliz Navidad. Don't go be grumpo alono, I think is Spanish for that.